next 3 years? And how many have they completed thus far? And what is the Federal Housing Authority's strategy to achieving this? We're also considering how the FHA intends to collaborate with state government and private sector partners to deliver on these housing projects and precisely what role it will be playing in the implementation process. The Managing Director, CEO, Federal Housing Authority, Oyetunde, is live with me from our Abuja studio. Thank you for staying the course on the program. Quickly, let's talk about the current housing deficit in Nigeria. An AFDB report in 2022 puts it between 20 and 22 million units. The UN is projecting that our urban population will grow by 50% by 2025. And they say we'll need to build about 700,000 new housing units every year to meet that demand. So we're going to need beyond the renewed hope city and estate. So what's the comprehensive plan?
Well, the comprehensive plan for us in Federal Housing Authority is to make sure we meet this demand, we meet this target. We know that there's serious deficiency in terms of housing. We know a lot of people are sleeping out there on the street, and we know a lot of people want shelter of their own. It is not that really there's people don't have where to stay, but everybody wants to be a landlord. And I will tell you that's the major challenge. And in Federal Housing Authority, we would make sure we deliver as much as we can. Thank God for the cooperation of the state governor, I keep saying. They've given us massive lands, some state 150 hectares, some state 200 hectares. Some of them have paid, even for the encumbrances, for the compensation. Is now to move into site and start building the houses. And I call you, most state governors even told us that if we need more, they are going to give us more land. And we will meet up. But like I said, it's a collaborative effort to meet up this figure of close to 20 million, 10 million. You can't do it alone. It has to be the state government, the federal government, the state government, and the private initiative.
Are we also paying attention to the rising cost of construction? The AFDP puts it at $800 per square meter. Is that something the Federal Housing Authority is working on to reduce this cost and make housing more affordable, especially for Nigerians who are interested in building themselves?
Thank you very much. We have already worked on that. Like I said, almost all the land given to us by the states were given to us free. Look at cost of the land first. In building, people just talk about putting structure up. They don't talk about the cost of the land. If care is not taken, cost of the land might take 30% of what you are going to build. And as we speak, those are one of the advantages we have. These lands given to us free in Federal Housing Authority. Secondly, compensation. In some states, you might end up paying up to 300 million, 500 million. This compensation majorly have been taken over by the state governors. Thirdly, we are also trying to talk to cement manufacturers, iron manufacturers and everything, so that those who will be procuring from them, they will be able to give us at a very discount price for most of the people that will procure for these projects. And the reason why we have to do this, by the time you remove about 30% or 25%, which would have been embedded in the initial cost out from this, that is the reason why we said it will be affordable. And we are going to deliver on carcass. I've said it and I'll keep saying it. Semi-finish or carcass, do not force finishing on anybody at this present time. If you decide to use a tiles of 2 naira, that's your business. If you decide to use a toilet of 50 naira, that's your business. Once we do the external infrastructure, we make sure we do the painting, the infrastructure on ground, the lights, the road, the water, and we do the windows for the external and the roofing. We want people to go and complete the internal finishing. It's the finishing that is always a problem. If you impose finishing on people, most people will not be able to afford. And that's why we in Federal Housing Authority says, after doing all this, we will allow Nigerians to go and do their finishing. And I can bet it with you, in the next 1 year, Nigeria will come back and thank the administration of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for this initiative. All what we've been saying is for them to be patient. I've said it on many TV programs, on many radio programs, that what they have to do is just to be a bit patient. Issues on ground have been on for over 30 years. The issue of housing deficit did not start today. The issue of other issues did not start today. And one man has said, I need to rebuild. You can't rebuild in 1 year what has been done in Nigeria. It has to take a process and a step. And that's why it's having the right people.
Well, break down for us, if you can, the acquisition process, because people are actually concerned about how middle and low-income earners can take advantage of these. It's hard for a poor man to actually pay for a house. And I think you mentioned that earlier, if the fact that everybody wants to own a house. In Lagos, we've seen the rent-to-own scheme as a strategy to address the housing deficit in the state. What exactly is the strategy to get this category of people to be able to pay for these houses? Because it's one thing to build them, it's another thing for this category of people to be able to afford them.
Oh, well, thank you very much. One of the things we should realize in Nigeria, we've not reached a stage where government will provide free housing for Nigerians. That we must be honest. Now, in terms of affordability, I've said it here. Our target is even from level 02 to 06 down to level 8 of the ministry, either be you federal ministry, state ministry, local government workers. And that was why I will keep saying we started from the state governors. The state governors have the statistics of their workers. They have the statistics of the union in every state, be it market women, be it downfall drivers, be it this, be it that. And we also have been talking to different stakeholders in terms of different unions to make sure and to inform them of what we are doing, sensitization, to make sure when it's time, they can also partake. We will make sure these houses get to the low-income earners, and they would be able to pay. So far they can show means of livelihood or income, we would make sure it gets to them. We're
running out of time, but I want us to touch on the National Housing Fund. 31 years after it was introduced, the scheme hasn't really brought much respite to workers in the country. Last year, I think they were able to, just about 17,000 workers were able to benefit. That's out of about 16 million of them. I'm sure you followed the news how organized labor threatening to pull out due to poor access to the fund. These monies are being taken out from people's salary. They've also complained about poor management of resources. Is that a priority for the NHA?
Well, thank you very much. A couple of days or about 2 weeks ago, I went on a visit and my team to the Nigeria Labour Congress. And we had a meeting with the Labour President, in coupling of his executives as well. And we did tell them to please give us the benefit of doubt and trust, especially for this administration, about the social contrast. And we tell them we would deliver. And we will tell them we will work in synergy. And that's one good thing the Minister of Housing and Urban Development has been doing. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development has been making sure all sub-agencies under him and agencies under him work in synergy. You see, there's the issue of synergy in this game. If there's no synergy, we won't be able to achieve. Like you said, if I don't synergize, or we in FHA do not synergize with state governors, we won't achieve people living in these houses. And that's why we are very comfortable and we can beat our chest that after built, none of our housing will be left fallow on people not being at it. And secondly, with the National Housing Fund, remember that the agency have, Mr. President have newly appointed the heads of the agency. And we are in synergy, we are in discussion to see the way forward and to make sure that Nigerians benefit from the housing scheme. We are talking to Labour Congress. We are seriously talking and appealing to them to give a trust to this administration.
So, Joe, we have completely run out of time. You mentioned earlier that these renewed hope estates and cities will be available for Nigerians in the next 1 year. But as we go, why should Nigerians have confidence in this government in the area of housing? And precisely how can they apply, for these ongoing projects?
Well, thank you very much. Like you can even see, the viewers can see, these are abandoned projects since we came. The one you've been scrolling on your screen. We went there personally, and we did make sure that we resume work immediately. That's about 336,000 units in Buhari, which is going to be a first class by the time we finish with infrastructure and everything. And we are going to commission that in December. We have the Akpo Gusape commissioning of close to 1,000, which we met on ground on a PPP, which also will be commissioned in December. And for Nigerians to apply, they can visit our website, www.fha.ng.nigeria. And we have other phone numbers they can access and everything. And we promise Nigerians, like the ones they are watching, sorry, excuse me 1 minute, the ones now, in another 1 or 2 weeks, we are going to put the sales on to the public. And I will personally monitor that it doesn't go into the wrong hands or the excessive capitalists.
That's our time, Mr.
Middle and earners.
We have to go now. Managing Director, CEO, Federal Housing Authority, Oyetunde, thank you for talking to us on the program this evening.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you everyone for joining us tonight. If you missed any part of our program, don't worry, we got you covered.